Hello and welcome back to the channel. So after finishing the last video, it kind of got me thinking about my journey and how I got here. So today I want to share something that's a little bit more personal, and it's basically my journey of how I became a filmmaker. And basically it's the story of me going from this to this. So it's hard to pinpoint an exact moment like of when I said to myself, oh, I want to make movies forever. But I can pinpoint the moment where I became fascinated by films and the film that kind of set me on their journey. You know, everyone's got their film, and my film definitely is A Touch of Evil. That was playing late one night, actually over a Christmas when I was 13 or 14 on our national broadcaster RT1. There was something about this movie that absolutely captured me almost right away. I can even pinpoint the exact scene in the film as well. It's when Hank Quinlan, played by Orson Welles, is first facing off against kind of Charlton Heston. So as they were talking, behind Orson Welles there was this kind of giant cactus palm tree plant, and it was something so amazing just to see that for the first time. And I still clearly remember sitting there and being stunned because I didn't understand why it was there. I knew it was there for a reason. I knew it represented something. I knew it meant something, but for the life of me, I couldn't understand what it might be. And as the dialogue got more intense, you know, it cut in closer. But even as it cut in closer, and you saw more of Orson Welles, the plant also got bigger, and the plant seemed to grow in importance, not be any lesser of importance. And just there was something stunning about that for me, and I didn't understand it, but I was fascinated. So after that I began filming a lot, and this was the first ever film I made with my friend in 1998. I don't actually know what this is called, but if anyone wants to tell me in the comments what it is, you can. And one of the reasons I wanted to make this video as well is just to kind of show the journey I've been on with all the various kind of gear and equipment and how that's changed in a relatively short space of time. So I shot this in 1998. It says cameraman Thomas mostly, and here it says my life. So I must have known something at that age that I'm only kind of appreciating now maybe. But primarily once I got my own camera with my confirmation money from about 2000 until about 2003, this was kind of the bad boy that I shot kind of everything on. And this is obviously the high 8 tape. And I became, you know, really into filming as much as I could, everything really. And kind of as a kid I would always kind of have a camera in my hand. So after making a lot of things with my sisters and my family on high 8 tapes, I kind of started to make more films with my friends. And so this is like the family phase and the friends phase. And this is, I'm sure some people will recognize it, Mini DV. And I used Mini DV from around 2006, 2007 until probably 2010. I shot the two films that I shared on this YouTube channel, The Sleeping City and Losing the Last War, on this channel before. And if you haven't seen them, click here. So after that, after I finished school, I did actually go to film college, and I definitely want to do another video on the pros and cons of film school. But one reason I want to touch on that in this video is the fact that we shot on this. Oh yes, we shot on film. Someone else's film I'm looking at, and this is Super 16 by the way. And this is someone else's film actually, I see. But I'd say it's just the end of someone else's film. Oh, it's actually Back to the Future. That's weird. Why is Back to the Future there? It must be just some kind of, what's the word, like a header or a lead-in before your film actually starts. And that was my graduation project from the diploma course, and it was a film called I'm Cold, and it is on YouTube channel, and you can click here to watch it. Shot on Super 16mm film, and it does look gorgeous, to be fair. And digital at that time didn't have the wasn't high quality as it is now as well, do you know what I mean? And you didn't have the tools like DaVinci, Premiere to really do the color correction that you want to do. I don't exactly remember what kind of color correction tools you had in Final Cut Pro 7, but you know, you would not get the results that you could in film anyway. I think it's safe to say that. So after I left film school, the first project that I really took on were actually, I put on 2 plays in Dublin city centre. So I wrote, directed and produced these 2 plays, put them on in front of audiences. We put them on a few times. I think we put them both on twice in Dublin. I think the reason that I took on a play rather than another film project is because, you know, after all these years of debating technology and this whole upheaval that was going on in the industry from film to digital, it was great just to get away from that and get back, you know, to the essentials of the craft of storytelling, which is, you know, working with actors to tell a really great story. You know, that must be the core of everything you do. And then after that, after putting on those plays, I did work in the Irish film industry for about 6 or 7 years. I worked as a production assistant, which is just like a dog's body. But being based in the production office, I think, was helpful because I learned so much about organization and, again, people management and creating things like schedules, call sheets. Like, I'd probably never seen a call sheet in my life before. I doubt we had them in film school. So our daily reports, call sheets, film schedules, all that stuff. So I would have been the one, you know, kind of photocopying them, sharing them out, and kind of seeing them being made as well. And that was all a really, you know, I learned a lot from it anyway, I can say that. And there's no way I would have been able to self-produce a feature film as I have in Gardener's Planet if I didn't have that existing experience. Also, the other thing I did while I was living in Dublin during this time, in between these Irish film industry jobs, I would also work on my friends' films and music videos, short films, music videos, and feature films in Dublin. These would have all been low budget independent projects, and this was just kind of really, I can see in retrospect, the beginning of the independent film scene. And it was so exciting to work on that because this was the first time that technology was affordable enough that we could actually go out and make high quality, presentable work that you could show to other film. And I have a lot of great memories of working on those films, and I really enjoyed it. We had some great laughs working on those films as well. And I would recommend anyone who's just out of film school, you know, to work with people you know, make as many films as you can, and help each other out. You know, it's good karma, and you never know what's going to come out of it. And you just want to find ways of upskilling your own talents in as many roles as possible, because I learned so much from doing that on all the various projects that I worked on. So after that, I did kind of definitely burn out of living in Dublin. It's just something I wasn't really able to afford to do at a certain point. With the film board kind of jobs, infrequent as they were, it just wasn't something I could keep up. I enjoyed it, I had a lot of friends there, but you know, it just wasn't possible after a certain point. So I did decide eventually to go to Cardiff and do a master's in animation. And during that year, I produced a 5-episode web series called Poxy, Bleedin Shop. And that was based on a real job I had. It was the web series, and the job I had was an off-license in a rough area of town, and the colourful characters that frequented it. So in that job, we had a lot of kind of homelessness and drug abuse and alcohol abuse, obviously, that we saw in that job. And it was kind of shocking, but I did see there was a very fascinating subculture here. And so I made a lot of notes in that job. And so when I left Dublin, I took those notes and I made the web series from that. And I actually eventually produced a second season of that during COVID as well in 2021. And if you haven't seen it, check it out here. But what I would take from that is, you know, the importance of personal filmmaking and personal storytelling, and that old advice saying you should always try to write about what you are familiar with. And that was definitely something that was true for me in my experience of creating Poxy, Bleedin Shop. And that pretty much brings us up to today and Gardener's Planet, which was shot on a Blackmagic on a SanDisk CFast card. So today I'm really proud to be able to call myself a filmmaker. I've gone on a pretty wild journey, but I've met some amazing people, been to some cool places, and most importantly of all, made some work that I'm really proud of and I feel stands up. So I do think, you know, all those skills, working with people, working with computers and technical skills, you know, they've all helped me to make the film Gardener's Planet, and there's no way it would be the same film if I hadn't gone on that journey. It might be a better film or it might be a worse film, but there's no way it would be the film that it is. And I do love the film that it is, and I'm super proud of it. I'm excited to, you know, get out there, and I will be talking about it in more other videos. But I also wanted to give a bit more background on myself as well. So I hope something I've talked about has been educational as well, because there's definitely a historical aspect to some of these things. I can't get over this. I found this last night, and I definitely want to include this in the video. I hope it's also been entertaining, and I hope you get something from it. So do please consider liking and subscribing if you haven't already, and we will see you in another video soon.